Okay, and good morning, and welcome to the WSJM Morning Show for Wednesday, October 1. This is the video live stream edition. I'm Ken Lundberg. Thank you for joining us. Special guest this morning, Kim Jorgensen Gane. Am I getting that right?
Good morning, yes.
Is that the right pronunciation?
Yes, thank you for not calling me Kimberly again.
I'm sorry.
Then it feels like my mother's yelling at me.
You know, I have a mental block on this, and here's why. In high school, there was this really cute girl named Kimberly, but then she changed her name to Kim, and at one point she yelled at me because I was calling her Kimberly. So my fault, my bad.
Okay.
It's Kim.
I will forgive you.
Thank you. Kim Jorgensen Gane is here. She's running for St. Joseph City Commission. And how's the campaign going? We were talking a little bit off the air about it. How is it?
It's going.
Yeah. What are the challenges?
The knocking doors thing is not an easy thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm a 5 foot tall, not a tall person.
Are people friendly when they answer the door?
Yeah.
Good.
It's the getting out there. It's when I ran for state senate in 2022, that was a huge challenge because it was so vast.
Yeah.
The district was just absolutely huge, and you just kind of don't even know where to start, and I, that feeling is there a little bit just because it's just a source of anxiety, and, it's, but
what do people, when you knock on the door, and people answer and they're friendly, what are they typically talking about? What are they interested in?
I really hoped we would talk about this part later, but
let me guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
4 wheels. It has 4 wheels and it rhymes with schmarking. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
And I'm not someone who's known to have much of a filter, and what kind of a filter I have at 7 a.m.
Perfect.
God only knows.
This is great radio then.
We'll find out together.
Yeah. No, so they want to know about parking, and we'll get to that. Any other issues they want to talk about typically?
I'm trying to think. Philosophical, do you believe in science?
Yeah.
Are you about banning books?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do believe in science.
Yeah.
The crazy, things are nuts.
So it goes to a broader political discussion.
Yeah. I don't know if you're aware, but Michael Fernandez, who's running for re-election, of course, he's a sitting commissioner.
Yep.
Lisa Ventney and we're running as a slate. We're all three of us endorsed by the Barron County Democratic Party.
Yep. Nonpartisan positions.
Correct.
However, the Democratic Party has endorsed you three.
Correct.
Okay.
And I'm a very proud progressive, and this this community is a part of my heart. I was born and raised here. These are, the commissioners, the sitting commissioners, those are my neighbors, right? Those are our community members. These are, people that you're going to see in the line at school, and I have great faith in humanity, great faith in our fellow people and in our community. But the paid parking thing, to be in that room and witness the vitriol and where it kind of went, that was a really hard thing to see.
Okay. Let's hold right there for just a moment, because I don't want to interrupt further, but we have to get some news in, and we'll come back and continue this conversation on the video live stream and on the radio.
Great.
We're talking with Kim Jorgensen Gane. She's running for St. Joseph City Commission, and we're going to come back and continue this interview in just a moment here on WSJM.
When you need extra cash, go to 27cash.com. That's 27cash.com. 27cash.com.
WSJM News now. Team coverage from the WSJM newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:05, it's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning, I'm Ken Lundberg. It is Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. It's 57 degrees in Benton Harbor, 57 in South Haven, 59 in St. Joseph, 54 degrees and cloudy in Dowagiac right now, and 54 in Buchanan. Thanks for choosing us. We appreciate you. We've got our candidate interview series continuing. We're going to be talking with Kim Jorgensen Gane in just a moment. She is a candidate for St. Joseph City Commission. You can see her right here on the video live stream and hear the full interview uninterrupted. It's going to be continuing right after our news here. But first, we've got to get to some news. But first, the forecast just briefly. Partly cloudy skies today, a high around 77 degrees. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies, I would say, with low around 50. We're going to deal with some wind today, and I think that's because the high pressure system is breaking down a little bit, going to change the forecast a little bit, but not for the cooler. It's still going to be hot this weekend. It's going to feel like summer. So after we get through today, after we get through Thursday, we're going to return to highs probably around 80, 85 degrees. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, mostly sunny skies and a high around 85 degrees. And the lows only getting down to, 53 for a low on Friday, but only a low of 60 on Saturday and Sunday. The low on Monday only going to get down to 62 degrees and a high around 83. This is October. These are not October temperatures. And then Tuesday, that's when the change in weather comes around, when we have partly cloudy skies and a 30% chance of showers and a high around 76. Okay, we'll have more on that coming up. But first off, let's get some news from the WSJM newsroom. Michigan lawmakers worked into the early morning hours today to prevent a prolonged government shutdown. Shortly before 2 this morning, the House and Senate approved a 7-day extension of the previous budget and sent that to the governor's desk for signature. The new fiscal year began at midnight without a finalized budget. That technically violates the state constitution, but they've got this stopgap measure in place. And so with that 7-day extension, Governor Whitmer said services will continue, state services that is, without interruption, and state employees will remain on the job. In a joint release with legislative leaders, Whitmer said lawmakers are close to finalizing their deal. Leaders from both parties say they've won key priorities in their negotiations. So we'll keep you up to date on what happens there on the budget. South Haven, other news, South Haven officials held a special informational meeting on Tuesday to address questions about the city's new short-term rental ordinance. City manager Kate Hosier said it's understandable owners would have some questions given the new zoning reviews, the fees, and the licenses. Planning and zoning administrator Kelly Getman-Dessette said the paperwork involved with short-term rentals is significant.
I think about 100 of our short-term rental property owners have submitted an application for zoning compliance determination. And we know that it is taking some time to work through these, but 100 applications is a lot.
City Attorney David Eberle urged law owners to submit their applications for the short-term rentals as early as possible to avoid delays.
If for some reason your permit expires before you are issued your new permit, for that period of time you are unlicensed and under the ordinance may not rent.
Officials also collected written questions to expand the city's online frequently asked questions section. The ordinance sets occupancy limits, adds zoning restrictions, and requires existing rentals to comply with new rules. Up in Allegan County, a disturbing case. A Hopkins Township man has been arraigned on multiple felony charges in connection with a suspected cockfighting event. The Allegan County Sheriff's Office says 37-year-old Eden Dilson Rodas appeared in 57th District Court on September 23rd, facing 5 felony counts, including animal fighting and third-degree animal torture. Authorities say the incident occurred at Rodas's home on July 26. Video of the suspected event was provided to the sheriff's office by the animal advocacy group Shark on July 28th. Deputies then executed a search warrant at Rodas's house the following day, uncovering what they say is additional evidence supporting the charges. Bond set at $5,000. The investigation ongoing as deputies work to identify additional suspects. And finally, St. Joseph today is inviting the community to join in a month-long scavenger hunt in downtown St. Joseph. Spokesperson Danielle Crevier says the game is called Where's the Witch, and it runs through October. Halloween themed, right? Passports are available at the Welcome Center.
There are 13 participating locations, including the St. George Day Welcome Center. You just go search around for The Witch from the book There's Room on the Broom. So when you find it, you get your passport stamped by that participating location, and then once you complete it, you can turn it in for a prize.
Prizes are geared toward children, but anyone can participate. The event leads up to the Downtown Spooktacular, which is happening on October 18.
Just another fun thing to get, the community out, especially getting people in stores and just enjoying our downtown in the fall time.
The grand prize is a copy of the book Room on the Broom by Julia Donaldson, with other prizes including stickers and Halloween-themed items, again, geared toward children. Adults, please don't ruin the fun. A winner will be announced on November 3rd. Go to St. Joe Today for more information on that. That's a look at some of the local news that we have from the WSJM newsroom. We'll have more coming up. And in fact, this full hour we are dedicating to the next installment in our candidate interview series. We're talking with a candidate for the St. Joseph City Commission, Kim Jorgensen Gane. She's here in the studio joining us. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's
Thank
good.
you so much for having me.
Thanks for being here. We appreciate you coming in this morning. Are you a morning person?
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little. Well, thank you for making the extra effort. We do appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Kim Jorgensen Gane, you're running for St. Joseph City Commission. We love to start these interviews with a little bit of let you introduce yourself. Who is Kim Jorgensen Gane? Give us your origin story.
Well, I was born and raised here. Briefly, when I was a child, we lived in the Southwest Chicago suburbs.
Okay.
Came back.
I don't blame you.
I know, right? Most of my family is here. My husband and I, you have a birthday this month, apparently. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Husband and I will be celebrating our 31st wedding anniversary this month.
Congratulations. That's great.
October is lovely. It is, I come alive kind of in the fall. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
We have 4 children together, 4 adult children.
Nice.
Our daughters are millennials. My stepdaughter lives in the LA area. Our oldest, my daughter, who my husband adopted when she was about 11, she is in Tennessee with her family, 2 grandchildren, a granddaughter who is 3, and a grandson who is 1, living in Chattanooga. And fun fact, I was the witch from Room on the Broom.
What?
2 Halloweens ago.
No kidding.
Yes.
Well, see, very coincidental.
I know.
That's wonderful.
But don't come knocking on my door looking for the witch, because it's not that kind of witch.
Yeah.
And then our 2 boys, our son together, who we had when our daughters were 16 and 14.
Okay.
He is 22 years old, and we also raised our nephew from the time the boys were 12. He also is 22 years old, and they just moved to the Detroit area.
Okay.
So,
wow, that is a house full.
Yeah, well, it was.
Yeah, holidays
Not
must
so
be
much
great.
now.
Yeah. Give us a little bit of your background. What have you been doing professionally? I've looked at your Facebook and some other information sources. You do a lot.
I do a lot. I follow my heart. Let's see where to begin. My husband's work for the last 25 plus years, he has traveled extensely for his work. He's a nationally recognized security expert. He deals with corporate security.
Wow.
He has taught active shooter preparedness, for instance, in colleges and universities and workplaces. So he deals with workplace violence, business continuity, disaster management, things like that. So he's, he hasn't been around much. Certainly not, for our son's whole life. So, quote unquote, I've been a stay-at-home mom my son's whole life.
Okay.
But not just a mom by any means. I produced and co-directed Listen to Your Mother, which was a live storytelling show. My husband and I, we actually lived in the Chicago area, Southwest Chicago suburbs, for a couple of years when our daughters were young, and came back, obviously, because here I am. And we owned a restaurant. We had to close that restaurant.
Which restaurant?
Because of 9/11. Now it's the Happy Poochie.
Oh, okay.
Back when we had it, it was the Main Street Cafe.
Oh, okay. Very nice.
And it about killed me, but but closing it killed me too. That was post 9/11. The restaurant industry was a particular industry that was hit really hard because it's like everybody threw down their napkins, got up from the table, and went home.
Yeah.
Neat things like Farm to Table and the Locavore and Food Network. There were certain things that grew out of that were beautiful, as most things, difficult, out of difficulty comes hopefully usually something beautiful.
Yeah.
But that was a very difficult, thing to go through.
I bet.
It was a local business, obviously, a seasonal business, very much so, as many of our voters in St. Joe are also dealing with.
Yeah.
Then when our son was young, we lived in San Diego for a couple of years and came back.
Yeah. Nice.
And
I like the theme here.
I know.
You keep coming back.
Right. But I think that it's good to experience other places. And it kind of gives you a vision for what we could be. It gives you an understanding that while St. Joe is the center of our world, it's not the center of the world,
Who says? No, you're right.
So when we were in San Diego, it was a really difficult transition, but I started taking creative writing classes and I started blogging.
Yeah.
And because I was a mommy blogger, it also brought me to Listen to Your Mother. This was a show, a staged storytelling show that grew out of mommy blogging.
Yeah.
But it was in 41 cities one of the years we did it. It was,
wow.
It was an incredible experience. And both with the restaurant and with Listen to Your Mother, these were things that we built as a way to bring a multicultural experience to our kids, because that hasn't been easy to find around here if you don't go looking for it. So, beautiful connections in both the Benton Harbor and the St. Joe community and wider. And that's intentional. Worked on the Unified Civic Monuments Project. Passionate about that, believe deeply in that.
Yeah.
What else? Running for state senate, sold real estate. My dad is a real estate broker. He was my real estate broker. And years ago, I got my license and worked as his office manager. This was when my daughter was young.
Yeah.
And I was a single mom. And then put my license in escrow because the bottom kind of fell out of the real estate market in 89, 90 locally. Well, not just locally, widely. Yeah. And my skills were more marketable than my dad's.
Yeah.
And he was like, I can't support, this kind of office anymore. So went to work at Whirlpool.
Okay.
Did that, worked at Johnson Rohoff.
Okay. You're in marketing.
Marketing, product literature.
Okay.
On the Whirlpool account, actually.
Very nice.
Let's see.
Well, I tell you what, we can pause there.
Okay.
and on the radio, we'll get sports, and we'll continue the talk on the video live stream.
Great.
And we want to get your vision for St. Joseph, why you're running, and more. We're talking with Kim Jorgensen Gane. She's a candidate for St. Joseph City Commission, and we're going to continue this interview on the video live stream on YouTube, on Facebook, and on our WSJM Smart app. You can tune in right now. If you have the app downloaded, just open it up, and you can see us right there, right now on WSJM. Okay, sports is on the radio with Dave Wolf. And congratulations, Tigers, for winning their first game in the wild card series against the Cleveland Guardians. Let's go for number 2. That happens this afternoon. All right, we're talking with Kim Jorgensen Gane. So why St. Joseph City Commission? When did you, let me back up a step. You ran for state senate. You ran against Eric Nesbitt?
Yeah.
and he's now the Republican leader in the Senate. That was a big task.
Yeah, it was. Yes, it was a very big task, and it is something that you have no clue what you're stepping into until you're actually in it.
Yeah.
I was running against leadership. I was running in a quote unquote unwinnable district, I was told by the Senate Democratic Caucus.
Yeah.
And when you're running against leadership specifically, there are a lot of people who aren't willing to really go out on much of a limb.
On both sides, either side of the aisle.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because if he wins, and by the numbers, data, all of that, that was pretty likely. They're going to have to deal with him, after the fact.
Yeah.
And so, you imagine who's going to be on your side, who's going to be you have your back, who's going to be on your team. And when that's not the experience, it was really tough.
Yeah.
It broke me in a lot of ways. But it was a really great learning experience, certainly. Yeah. I had worked on Chokwe Pitchford's campaign as his communications director in 2020 when he ran for State House.
Okay.
This was during COVID. I mean, it was crazy times.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of big learning experiences, but when I ran in 2022, it was because Prop 3 was on the ballot, which was our Reproductive Freedom for All ballot initiative. And I had been a storyteller with Planned Parenthood in 2018. And it was, it wasn't necessarily, you think you're going to win, or, it was that the work was bigger than just this seat and just the legislature. It was like this fundamental thing that I believe so deeply in because I've lived it.
Yeah.
And it, that's what drove me, and that's what got me out there. But I did run for city commission in 2017, actually, also.
Yeah.
In 2017, after Trump was elected in 2016, the local work was something that felt really important. And I had registered to run for city commission by the deadline and all of that. And I was the 7th person to register, which forced a primary.
Yeah.
5 minutes before the deadline.
Which I bet people were probably very appreciative of. Can you hold for just one moment? We're going to do weather, and then we're going to come back and continue the interview.
Great.
All right. We're talking with Kim Jorgensen Gane. She's running for St. Joseph City Commission. Back in just a moment here on WSJM.
Partly cloudy skies today, so a little more cloud cover today. That will keep our temperatures down a few degrees. We're going to stay in the 70s, 77 for the high. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies. We still drop down all the way to 50. And then for tomorrow, a mix of the sun and clouds. The high temperatures back up close to 80. We should be in the low to mid 80s this weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
WSJM Morning Show continues. I was saying on the break here before we got back on the air that the bees are loving this weather. I'm seeing tons of bees on the wildflowers, the flowers out in the neighbors' yards and such like that.
Yeah.
Making honey. Make honey while the sun shines.
The city of St. Joe is a bee city USA.
Is it a bee city USA?
Yes, we are.
I love that. We should be a bee city. We should be a monarch city as well.
Absolutely.
I like the milkweed.
Yes.
All right, 7:24. It's the WSJM Morning Show. We're talking with Kim Jorgensen Gane. She's running for St. Joseph City Commission, where she's introducing herself, and we're talking about her diverse background. In she's been a blogger. She's run for state office. She's been a real estate person. She's been in marketing, and you're running now for St. Joseph City Commission. Why did you make the decision to run again for St. Joseph City Commission?
I was asked.
Okay. Tell us more. Who asked you?
Well, I was telling you about running in 2017
right.
and forcing a primary as the 7th person to register. And I was also the person who fell off the ballot. So I got the lowest number of votes in the primary. But I went on to support two other progressive candidates, Laura Goose and Peggy Getty, and they won by only 5 and 7 votes.
Wow.
And the idea, of course, was that we had, you've talked with other candidates on the show about the fact that we've had no development downtown for
Yes.
decades.
Yep.
And at that time, we had decades-long incumbents on the city commission. It skewed older,
Yeah.
longtime residents who love our community. I have no doubt that there was goodness in their heart. I just believed that we needed changes and we needed to grow forward. And I didn't see that happening with the commission as it was. And so Laura Goose and Peggy Getty won their seats. And then Lynn Todman was appointed to a vacated seat. And all of a sudden, everything has changed, right?
Mhm.
But then because we had a variety of representation on the city commission, the non-discrimination ordinance was introduced.
Mm.
And this was because at the state level, the Elliott Larson Civil Rights Act that had been, for decades, folks had been trying to amend it to include sexual orientation and gender identity.
Yeah.
But it kept failing and failing because we'd had 4 decades of Michigan GOP control in the state legislature. And so because we had a variety of representation on the city commission, that issue was introduced as our community becoming a non-discrimination ordinance community, and it passed unanimously. And so the city of St. Joe, I think, was the 44th or 45th city within Michigan to have a non-discrimination ordinance.
Yeah.
And I proudly fly an LGBT flag. It's a little tattered at the moment because of the winds, but I proudly fly next to our American flag, an LGBTQ plus flag on our house, because I don't ever want us to forget that we are a non-discrimination ordinance city.
Yeah.
And that was a unanimous, because Mary Jo Schnell from the Out Center, where my husband is on the board, she came and spoke before the commission and helped people understand that, for instance, the LGBT community, especially teens, which is what the Out Center specializes in, they face, much higher numbers of suicidal ideation, of suicide attempts, of bullying in school, of bullying in the community, businesses not wanting to serve them, landlords not wanting to rent to them,
Yeah.
employers discriminating against them. So when a city does that, then it is in their employment. When they employ, then they employ in a non-discriminatory way. In 2023, after we had a Democratic trifecta in 2022 in the state legislature, which did not include me, but
Yeah.
in 2023, the Elliott Larson Act was finally amended to include sexual orientation and gender identity.
Yep.
And that is a really, really big deal in our state. So,
So translate that to the city commission. Why do you want to be on the city commission?
on the city commission, there's so much going on nationally that it doesn't always feel like we can do a whole lot about it. But I have been, for instance, a citizen appointee to the Sustainability Committee almost since its inception. And the subcommittee of sustainability is the Bee City USA. I'm co-chair of that committee.
Okay.
There are things on a local level, differences that we can make on a local level that are impactful and they matter. And when things are so loud and so nutty, out there,
Yeah.
we need to feel like our community is resilient, that our community is a place that empowers its residents and businesses to to thrive and to grow. And I think we have work to do in those areas. And I hope to be sitting at the table to help, guide that and make some of those decisions.
Yeah. Yeah. You strike me as a very issue-oriented candidate.
Indeed.
Yeah. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about more of that in just a moment. We've got to get a couple more messages on the radio, but we're going to continue this discussion right now on the video live stream. This is WSJM. We've got our Bloomberg Market Minute coming up next. So continuing on the video live stream here. So very issue-oriented. And so what issues do you think need to be brought forward to the St. Joseph City Commission that are either not moving fast enough or haven't appeared? If there is a list.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a list. There are certain things that have happened that I'm very proud of. Like I, talked about the non-discrimination ordinance, the accessible playgrounds at Silver Beach and Kiwanis. Very proud of those. I think Michelle Binkley, that's been a passion project of hers to create accessible play spaces for children, and applaud her for that. And I'm proud for her that she's been able to see some of that happen. We have some real challenges with, as I was talking about, being someone who's owned a restaurant before.
Yeah.
I understand, and real estate too, very much, the feast or famine, that we kind of deal with here, living in a seasonal economy within a state that is very much impacted by a seasonal economy. We're surrounded by water.
Yeah.
We have service industry is big in Michigan, and it is very cyclical. With the seasons. If we don't have snow, the UP is suffering. If if we start with a real rainy, cold spring, we're suffering.
Yeah.
It's and that's not in anybody's control, but it makes it hard to come together sometimes because people are struggling. So wherever I can help, like I said, to empower our residents, to empower our businesses to thrive here, to help our community be more resilient. We don't even know what we're going to face, in the next 3 years plus.
Yeah.
And for our community to be able to come together, everything that I have done has been about building bridges and bringing people together and building community. And I've had to create those platforms.
Yeah.
Pardon me. It's early.
No, sorry.
I've had to create those platforms for myself and create ways for my kids to have those experiences. When it hasn't been that easy, being a city commissioner, it kind of gives you a platform, to invite people in. So listening, I produced and co-directed a show called Listen to Your Mother. So, what makes others passionate about this community?
Yeah.
What makes others want to live here? One of those things is our excellent public schools.
Yeah.
I want to be in a position to ensure that our public schools are healthy and that our community is supportive of those public schools. And those aren't necessarily issues, the school board handles a lot of that stuff, but for whatever ways, our public library.
Yeah.
If we, if we have, I want us to do a better job of supporting our public library.
Yeah.
Why is the public library paying the city to, or anyone, if not the city, why is the public library having to pay for snow removal and things like that out of their budget? Maybe those are some things that we can work with. If there are, assessments or whatever that come up for the library, I want to be there to make sure that I'm a voice that supports that.
Yeah. Yeah. Talking about, you say you have 4 children.
Yes.
4 children, and they're adult children. Do any of them live in St. Joe right now?
Nope.
How do we make St. Joe more attractive? If that's what you want, if that's what we want, if that's what St. Joseph wants, how do we make it more attractive for that age range?
That is exactly something that matters to me, is that I would love it if my children would choose this as their community.
Yeah. They listen to your mother, kids.
Yeah, I know, right?
Come on back.
Listen to this show.
Yeah.
Yes, that is absolutely, my son, but my boys graduated in 2021. COVID was their junior and senior year of high school.
Oh, goodness.
It was rough.
Yeah.
And they're
we're going to have a break here in just a moment.
Okay.
But we'll come back. Okay. I don't want to interrupt your thoughts more. 7:35. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Concluding the Bloomberg Report. We'll be back with a quick check on the weather and sports and news and a whole lot more. It's WSJM. Be right back.
Futures are lower this morning. Gina Cervetti, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:36. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning again. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ken Lundberg. My guest this hour is Kim Jorgensen Gane. She's running for the St. Joseph City Commission. We're having a good conversation. We're talking next about her vision for St. Joseph, how to keep the younger set here. And then we'll talk about parking, and we'll talk about development in downtown. We can talk about short-term rentals if you want. A whole lot to get to in the next 22 minutes. But first off, we've got some news to get to from ABC. Our preview of local news is coming up next. 56 degrees in Benton Harbor right now. Cloudy skies, getting toward a high of 77 degrees today, at least in Benton Harbor. In St. Joseph, probably around 75, 76 degrees. Tonight's forecast, partly to mostly cloudy, and then sunshine for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then on Tuesday of next week, they put a placeholder here for rain. We'll see if it can happen. But more on that coming up at 7:37. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The federal government is closed. Roughly 750,000 federal workers expected to be furloughed without pay. Some potentially fired by the Trump administration. Some things are still open, says ABC's Elizabeth Schulze.
National parks are open for now, but could face staff shortages. The Smithsonian will be open until at least October 6th. And in 1 week, that critical WIC program, which gives nutrition assistance to 7 million low-income women and their children, is set to run out of funding.
President Trump's immigration crackdown and some public health work at the FDA and the Department of Agriculture will continue during the shutdown. Rescuers are using backhoes and sniffer dogs to try to find more survivors in the central Philippines following an earthquake that has left at least 69 people dead. President Trump proposing using American cities as training grounds for U.S. troops. That part of the new Trump administration culture for the military laid out before hundreds of generals this week. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:38 WSJM Morning Show continues. Some of the news that we'll have right after 8 o'clock from the WSJM Newsroom. Michigan lawmakers worked into the early hours this morning, shortly before 2 a.m. House and Senate passing a 7-day extension of the previous Michigan budget. They sent it to the governor for signature. The new fiscal year began at midnight. We still don't have a finalized budget, but at least there's a 7-day extension in there. And Governor Whitmer said services will continue at the state level without interruption. State employees will remain on the job. Other news that we'll tell you about just after 8 o'clock. Ground has officially been broken on Project T. That's the new housing development planned at the site of the former Mercy Hospital in Benton Harbor. We'll give you more detail there. And then also Southwestern Michigan College, SMC, has narrowed their search for a new president. They've gone down to 4 finalists. We'll get the update from WSJM's Andrew Green on that coming up just after 8 o'clock. We're continuing our conversation with Kim Jorgensen Gane. She's running for St. Joseph City Commission. That is continuing right now on the video live stream. Here on the radio, we've got sports coming up next after a look at state news.
The Michigan.
Okay, back on the video live stream. Sorry, we were talking about your drink there, and it's a mushroom coffee, and it's Rise, R-Y-Z-E. And I actually have a bag of this stuff at home.
Do you?
I do. I like it because I'm a coffee connoisseur. I love coffee.
Same.
I drink massive amounts of coffee every day, and I only pay attention to the reports, the medical reports that say it's good for you.
Yes.
I don't care about the other reports.
Agreed.
But I'm thinking, with this Rise stuff, I might make, because I haven't drank it faithfully, but I'm thinking I should probably make cookies out of it. Doesn't that sound good?
Sure.
I mean, it's in the powder form already. I'll just mix it in.
Why not?
Put enough honey or molasses in there. It'll taste good.
I'm sure it would. And probably give you a little, well, I don't know about baking it, but I mean, you could cook with mushrooms.
I don't
know how they lose
We had
their...
you mentioned lion's mane, and we went down to the farmer's market this weekend, Stephanie and I, my wife, and we bought some beautiful lion's mane, fresh lion's mane.
Wow.
And I made little quote unquote chicken cutlets out of them.
Oh, nice.
Oh, so simple and so good.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of olive oil, saute them after they're done, 3 or 4 minutes each side, salt, pepper, done.
We use portobello mushrooms a lot as a substitute for meat.
Yeah.
I don't eat a lot of meat.
We don't eat any meat. We just eat, except for fish. We're pescatarians.
Same.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
See?
I'm practically pescatarian is what I call myself.
I always want to eat the cicadas though. I want to eat bugs. Stephanie will not. Yeah, Stephanie won't do it.
I was going to tell you.
Bugs are fun.
No offense to Brett Witkowski, but I'm team oat milk.
All right. Oat milk is good. Isn't that funny that he drinks milk with ice? Dairy milk with ice is just,
that was the bridge too far for me.
All right. We're getting off topic here. Let's go back. Okay, so let's talk about parking. So parking is parking one of the big issues as to why you decided to run?
No, I had decided before the real, flack about that started.
Describe from your perspective the parking situation. How do you view the objectives generally, the rollout, and the pause?
I have a lot of respect for the city commission for tackling it at all, because historically it has just been a can that keeps getting kicked down the road.
Yeah.
It's something that we complain about every year, and nobody was trying anything. So I give them a lot of credit for trying. I feel like they, to the degree that they could imagine at the time, they did their due diligence. My understanding is that this was brought to them by the DDA and as a request, and they had a consultant. I will tell you, however, as someone who ran for state level office in Southwest Michigan, when you work with consultants, you need people who understand your community. Whether or not that was the case, it seems a little questionable because of the way it all kind of, had I been sitting at the table, and hindsight is 2020. I'm not throwing daggers, at anybody.
Right.
Had I been at the table, however, I live at the corner of Elm and Main, and I would not have voted yes without crosswalks being much improved, from where they are, because I see people all the time, and it's the vacation home folks, the Airbnb folks, standing at that corner with strollers and beach stuff. And my boys, they were well trained to walk down a block and go to the light.
Right.
But they were also trained not to walk and look at their cell phones. So,
True.
Yeah.
Some responsibility on both sides.
Yeah. And I, without those two things going you can't push parking across Main Street without giving people a safe way, to get to the beach, to get to the business district. So I can't see myself, because that is just something that for more than 10 years that we've lived in that house, that I have watched this season after season, and I cannot imagine myself saying yes without crosswalks, happening. So timing wise, I can't say that I wouldn't have, I understand the need to, and the desire to have some revenue from that, and for that revenue to go directly to improving the downtown streets. And we need that. I saw the plan for Broad Street with, food trucks and the gate, permanent gates that can go up and down to block off the street when we have, things like chalk the block
Yeah.
and, stuff like that, which can, for one thing, it relieves some burden on our public works department. For another thing, it's so much nicer looking than the temporary barriers and things like that. I can see the potential. I can see, great things for that. 80% of that revenue that was collected was to go right back into the DDA for downtown development.
Yeah.
And we need that. But the rollout thing, I think that it started way too early because that overburdened locals and residents and downtown businesses.
Yeah. Calendar wise, you're talking.
Correct.
Yep.
Correct. I think we definitely had. I struggled to understand the 3 hour. When what they're wanting to do is move, because that feels to me like people are sitting there longer. But I didn't see the consultant's report.
Yeah.
So what do I know?
Yeah. What would it take? So if you're elected, what will it take for you to? Would you support paid parking of some sort?
I was not opposed to the idea of it, but I would want to listen to the people who are impacted. So, the downtown businesses. I had concerns. My kid walked across the street, to work at the bagel shop for years.
Yeah, yeah.
So I didn't have children who were working in the summertime downtown and having to drive and park and maybe walk to their cars in the dark with a pocket full of tips. But I definitely had concerns about that. I think that actually listening to Ryan Katowicz yesterday, I really liked his idea of using some of the kiosks down in the beach. Maybe we can sell them to the county.
Yeah.
And because Silver Beach is owned by the county.
Yeah.
And, eliminate the booth there and keep traffic moving and let people use kiosks, down at Bering County. So whether that's all of them or a portion of them, I think one of the things they're talking about is having paid parking in the lots.
Yeah.
But, relieving that
which
in
seems,
front of the businesses.
Which seems to me a little counterintuitive. If the traffic you want to get moving is the stuff that's sitting in front of the businesses, why would you drive traffic away from the lots?
Right.
If you so I don't know.
I know.
A lot of stuff to talk about, but let's hold that thought. We'll come back. We'll make this part of our Moody on the Market update. We're going to have that in just a moment. We're talking with Kim Jorgensen Gane. She's running for St. Joseph City Commission. There are 6 candidates, and this is a continuation of our candidate interview series. If you miss any of them, just go back and watch the library. We've got it on YouTube, Facebook, and at WSJM.com. Back with weather in just a second.
Partly cloudy skies today, so a little more cloud cover today. That will keep our temperatures down a few degrees. We're going to stay in the 70s, 77 for the high. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies. We still drop down all the way to 50. And then for tomorrow, a mix of the sun and clouds. The high temperatures back up close to 80. We should be in the low to mid 80s this weekend. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
748 WSJM Morning Show. It's Wednesday, October 1, one of the best months of the year, October. It's time for our Moody on the Market update. It's brought to you by Insurance Management Service this hour. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owner's insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. And as part of our Moody on the Market update this hour, we are talking with our St. Joseph City Commission candidate, one of 6, Kim Jorgensen Gane. And so she's running for one of 3 open seats on the St. Joseph City Commission. We've been having a good conversation about her background, about some of the development ideas that she has, also about some of the parking issues in downtown St. Joseph. We were just concluding that conversation. Where did we leave off? You had a solution, the magic solution for everything having to do with parking, right? No.
If only.
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things they're talking about is maybe adjusting it so the paid parking is either in the lots only or on street. And so where do you see this going? Are you happy with the way? How do we avoid? Because one of the things you talked about is the rollout was challenged. How do we avoid that kind of situation in the future?
I think better communication.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've been talking about on the sustainability committee, like from the beginning. I actually wrote a communications plan
Yeah.
for the sustainability committee, and there's been effort towards that.
Yeah.
For
those who don't know, what are the key elements of a communication plan? Where do you start with these things? There are like 2 or 3 key elements that any communication plan has to. This is a softball.
I mean, it's who.
Yeah.
It's when.
Yeah.
It's I'm forgetting
the what, basically.
Yeah,
But the who
right.
and when, I mean, the audience, you got to start with the audience first. Who are the stakeholders involved?
Yes.
And when you do the timing. And the analogy I use oftentimes is the bigger the plane, the longer runway you're going to need. Bring communications in earlier.
Yeah.
So that you can land the plane right.
Yeah.
And again, when you're thinking about stakeholders, why do you have a big plane? Because you got a lot of stakeholders.
Right.
So
right. And talking to the people who are most impacted.
Yeah.
We have a residence parking program for like the city-owned beaches.
That's right.
For instance. So, that seems to me a real easy place to expand. So that residents aren't overburdened. Now, did the paid parking, I did pay for parking during the short period of time.
Yeah. Did you find it easy to navigate the kiosks with your app and stuff?
Personally, but
Okay.
I travel, I got every place I go
Yeah.
that isn't,
Here.
here,
Yeah.
I'm paying for parking. When I go, I spend a couple weeks at a time, in Chattanooga with my grandbabies, and I have to pay for parking if I want to go, while my granddaughter is in preschool, if I want to go someplace to work,
Yeah.
to write, to, whatever, I have to pay for parking almost everywhere.
Yeah.
So that was something that I was familiar with, but I certainly understand that isn't going to be simple for everyone.
Yeah. And it kind of goes to that key divide, maybe, if you will, between the segment of the audience that wants St. Joe to remain as it is.
Right.
They like it like it is, and they don't want that big city feel to come here, versus the seasonal visitors whom we love,
Right.
that are a huge part of our economy,
Right.
that are familiar with that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And that has been our story always.
The divide.
Right.
Or the
Between-
two livings. Yeah.
Yes, the people who want St. Joe to stay the same, the
Yeah.
same. They want to, they want it to feel the same. They want to come back.
Yeah.
And have it just be comfortable for them and the same. And then you have the people who, I mean, it is a core value that I hold to, I've coached other moms, keep a toe in, stay up to date with technology. Even though I haven't been, formally employed for a number of years, I am, listen, I was a real hesitant AI adopter.
Yeah.
It has environmental issues, absolutely. The effects on our grid, water, all of these things. But it was something that I was really afraid of. And so I tackled it. I put a long personal history into ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I asked it in my voice, using my personal history, give me a book outline.
Yeah.
And it did it.
Pretty nice. Was
Yeah.
it good?
Yeah. It wasn't perfect.
Yeah.
But it gave me a kind of a roadmap that I could change, move around, and it, I think using it in ethical ways that we don't know what those are right now, right? That's something that we need to have conversations about, how to use AI effectively.
Yeah.
I think it is something that we could use to get feedback from our residents on, AI could be used to take public works issues. You know, my curb is broken.
Yeah.
There's a problem with a whatever over, you know,
Yeah.
a broken water main here
Sure.
or there, you know. There are ways that we can use technology tools to make managing our city and managing our community a little easier. Because we still need to be able to pick up that phone and call the city clerk's office or call public works or whatever, for those people who aren't going to use those tools. But if we incorporate some of those tools and kind of, you know, make some administrative type jobs easier, you know, I think we can do that.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Marquette development proposed
I
for
love it.
downtown?
You know, I have my concerns about the growing pains, right? You know, how is it going to impact, you know, the downtown businesses, residents? You know, there's going to be a dust. I mean, we live right on Main Street, so dust is absolutely an issue in our house.
Yeah.
It's, you know, and, you know, we're going to have the I-94 business loop improvement too.
Yeah.
Those are beautiful, wonderful opportunities, but they're not going to be easy in the meantime. I happen to believe that with something like the Marquette, I think that it will actually open up some inventory of homes in the downtown area. I think, you know, we are an aging population, and we are in St. Joe, we are an aging community. And we have a lot of snowbirds, a lot of, you know, homeowners that have owned their homes for a long, long time. Maybe they'll consider, you know, still having a downtown address and moving into a place like the Marquette. And then maybe their home will be for sale for a younger family that needs the yard, that, you know, needs the garage for all the toys and, you know, all of that.
Yeah, we're talking with Kim Jorgensen Gane, and we'll conclude this conversation in just a moment. We've got one message to get to, but that was part of our Moody on the Market update, brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles.
Rich Brand and Tara Causey from Insurance Management Service, your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and Niles, know it means something to have peace.
All right, we just have 30 seconds here.
Oh.
30 seconds here to fill, and then we'll come back and have 90 seconds for you to make your concluding remarks.
Okay.
Good. That's a fast hour.
Yeah.
Are you glad you got up this morning? Is this
am.
good? Morning
Absolutely.
person? Okay.
No.
You're a converted morning person?
No.
All right.
Never.
That's fine. That's why. Do you get out and visit your kids a lot?
Yes.
Okay.
I have not been out to LA to see my stepdaughter.
Yeah.
Yet. We met up in Vegas last summer.
Oh, that's fun.
Well,
did you win anything at the tables?
I don't love Vegas.
Okay.
It's not my.
That's not your job.
An assault
your jam.
on my
yeah.
sensitive.
Well, maybe you could go to the Sphere. That's kind of cool looking.
Driving by it was absolutely cool. It was absolutely. I don't know. I don't know about the.
Yeah.
I mean, an IMAX situation is overwhelming.
1 second. We'll be right back. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Midwest Family Marketing and Media. Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
7:58. This is time for your elevator speech. Kim Jorgensen Gane, candidate for St. Joseph City Commission. Make your argument. Why do you want people to vote for you?
My signs say I'm the Kim that cares. And that was my slogan when I was running for state senate in 2022. I have been a caregiver to 2 generations of children. I keep coming back because I care deeply about this community. And of course, anybody who takes this on cares deeply about this community.
Yeah.
I think having a history here, but then also wanting to build on that history and wanting us to grow forward and wanting us to progress and wanting us to, you know, become a better and better community. And we're all going to have different ideas about how to make that happen. I think it's pretty clear that I'm crunchy and
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I'm egalitarian. I'm, you know, I want to empower people to make the best decisions they can make.
Where can people get more information?
You can follow me on Facebook. I don't do a lot of public stuff, but I'm
Okay.
going to make that effort.
Okay.
You
And
can
we've
look
got
at
to-
ballotpedia.com.
We've got to wrap it there.
From
8 o'clock.
ABC
Thank you.
News, I'm Sherry Preston. The federal government is now shut down. Starting today, we could see 7